Cold open question of the week, Kaz.
What up, Shoes?
If there were, on some network or platform, a battle of the pro wrestling stars, are you young? Are you old enough to know what Battle of the Network Stars was?
Yes.
They have all the different actors from different shows come and
It's still a little bit before my time, but I'm old enough for all the remakes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So imagine we have WWE versus AEW, Battle of the Pro Wrestling Stars, right? And they're doing wrestling stuff, but it's like wrestling adjacent physical feats, right? So you can do the most degrees on their off the top rope splash or like whatever. Okay, in this competition, it is called opponent toss. All right. On the AEW team are Claudio and Darby Allin. The WWE team is Oba Femi and Javon Evans, who between Oba and Claudio could throw their opponent the farthest.
Dave, this legitimately might be the hardest cold open question of the week you've ever asked me, because all of my wrestling thoughts and ideas have told me Claudio is pound for pound the strongest man in wrestling.
Yes.
And I put that against anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But Oba Femi is a national champion shot putter for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And that's before he became an unstoppable, like, ass whooping machine.
Sure.
In NXT. One could argue the toss for the ECW arena was a little bit further than the toss for Javon.
NXT, yeah. And I think, and I'm pretty sure Darby Allin weighs a few pounds less than Javon Evans.
Just a little bit less. Yeah. So there's lots of bouncing. I'm going to have to go with Oba. I'm going to have to go with Oba. As much as I love me some Claudio, and I've seen him do some wild, freaky, strong things over the years, I think the Crimson Tide background, just tossing random things for most of his adolescence, you could make the argument that he hasn't even peaked as far as being able to toss heavy things far distances in his life, you know?
See, I think I would go with Claudio, but I wouldn't be shocked if Oba Femi, and partly it's because Darby Allin's lighter. And certainly, and somehow more aerodynamic, less lanky, right? He's got less.
Javon Evans is not a small person. He's a skinny person, but he's not a small person.
No, he's a tall guy.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't shock me if Oba Femi won, like just found some fourth gear through Javon 100 feet and then just like collapsed into a coma. He's just like, I feel like Claudio's a little bit more in control. But yeah, no, it's tough. It's tough. We got to book out the rest of Battle of the Pro Wrestling Stars. It's going to be an incredible event when and if it never happens. But first, we got Clash in Paris this weekend. Let's make some picks. Let's start the show. Welcome to the Masked Man Show with Kaz. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Shoes, in Buffalo, New York right now, getting ready for West Side Gun Day, calling the action at the Fourth Rope Show in just a few hours. So yeah, I'm excited.
What could be better?
Nothing could be better, man. Nothing could be better than wrestling in Buffalo, New York.
Wait, what's the big match of the weekend? What are you most excited about calling?
Oh gosh. Okay. So let me just pull up the card right here, because it's like a zillion matches. It's definitely our biggest show that we've had for Fourth Rope. So fatal four-way match to decide the first ever Fourth Rope women's champion. And that would be between top tier Tiara James, Rio, Alexis Littlefoot, and Nikki Blackheart, who has been a viral sensation for a number of weeks and months now. AJ Francis versus Oni Hing. Shout out to Static Selector and Show Off Radio. They'll be there as well. Real One defending his flyweight championship against Mo Jabari. Styles P is performing. Bun B will be there. Joe Alonzo versus Daniel Garcia is going to be a hell of a match as well. Can't wait for that one.
I've heard of Daniel Garcia, yeah.
Yeah. But Daniel Garcia in Buffalo. I think that's the match I'm looking forward to. Daniel Garcia in Buffalo taking on Joe Alonzo, who's probably the biggest asshole in fourth rope, and we'd love to see him get it handed to him here. So that's going to be a good one. EJ Nduka versus Moose, you know what I mean? Big meaty men bumping meat. Can't be mad at that one. And this massive, and I mean massive, fourth rope tag team title match between the Infantry, the Good Brothers, and the fourth rope tag team champions, Matt and Jeff, the Hardys. So it's going to be a great show. And Joey Badass is performing too. It's going to be sick. If you've never been to Buffalo River Works, it's an amazing venue. They have MMA fights here. They have concerts here. And from what I've seen so far, before I even head to walk through right after taping this podcast, it looks like it's going to be a very, very sick day and night of wrestling for sure.
Awesome. Well, I guess Clash in Paris will be the second most exciting pay-per-view of the weekend.
There you go.
Wrestling event.
Oh, it's a nice appetizer. It's a nice appetizer. You can do
that. We got PLE. We had Dynamite last night. The aforementioned Darby Allin, Claudio Castagnoli match happened at the ECW arena. Our friend Phil Schneider, friend of the show, Phil Schneider, and I were talking about, I think he's working on a piece for us, the best matches in the history of that arena. He hit me up last night and he was just like, dude, Claudio versus Darby might have to be on the list. I was like, I'm all for it. It was a great match. It was a lot of fun.
Match. In the history of that building, great match.
Yeah.
How many matches are we using?
I mean, it's basically ECW. Well, I guess one of the NWA, was it IWA Mid-South? Somebody ran that before.
Yeah, they ran a zillion matches in there. I mean, listen, if it's a top 10, I mean, that's going to be
I know that you're on the WWE payroll.
Yeah, they just cash at me this morning, so I got to shit on the show last night, or else we don't have a show. That's how this whole thing works, right?
That match was a lot of fun.
It was fun. It was awesome for sure.
So, if not, well, what was your? I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff last night. Actually, last night's show, Dynamite, was really good.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed a lot of this. MJF's promo might be I mean, this is going to be another controversial ranking. Was that a top 3 promo from MJF last night? I thought I think
it definitely hit. I think it definitely hit because, he usually cuts those post-match promos like right after the match and he's still sort of sweating and bleeding. And it always hits different because the commentary on the match has already been out for a couple of days. And then we kind of get to hear his raw thoughts right afterwards. So those are always cool. But I don't think I was ranking them.
What made you more excited in the Hangman Page segment? Hangman and Omega coming out to help Hangman, and then those two going nose to nose, or Okada and Takeshita not being on the same page in the Don Callis family. Which of those two potential matchups are you most excited for?
I think Okada Takeshita probably is the match that I'm most looking forward to, just because they've done a great job of being a lot more clever about their tension. Like, it's not the typical, oh man, you hit me when my back was turned and I didn't see it was an accident, or oh man, like you said, like, when the whole team, I love the bit when the whole team is like getting their licks on the opponent. Yeah. And then it's Okada's turn and Takeshita takes him out the way.
Yeah.
Just hit him with the Irish whip, and just being on the opposite sides of corners. And even when they both entered and stood next to each other, you can see Don Callis pretty much doing his best to be like, yo, like, keep it, like whispering something into Takeshita's ear to keep them on the same page. Like, I like that they've kept that tension there and they've done it in clever ways. But that doesn't mean I'm not excited about a potential Hangman Omega match or team up. I know next week they're going to be teaming up in an all-star tag match, but I think a lot of people would love to see them be a tag team once again. But can I be honest? Omega don't look like, he didn't really, like, when he came out, he didn't necessarily look like somebody who was fixing to be world champ real soon again. You know what I mean? Like, when he stood next to Hangman Adam Page, like at the end of the match, and they embraced whatever, it was cool. The feels were back from the original link up, but Hangman looks so much more of a champion than Kenny did right there.
Are you talking about Kenny being out of shape? Is that what we're joking about?
No, not even. I mean, people did say he looked a little different shape-wise. I just mean just like Kenny just seems like you know what it felt like? It feels like before this run, like when John Cena would come out and like challenge Roman Reigns for like the WWE Championship. It's like, oh, well, he's like the super duper established veteran who has nothing else to prove, but he's still popular enough to be a main event guy. But I don't necessarily see him winning a championship anytime soon. So I wasn't saying he's that washed, but I just said standing next to each other, juxtaposed from the last time they stood next to each other, it almost felt like, the first time Kenny and Hangman were, sharing screen time, Kenny always looked like the OG and the world beater, and Hangman looked like the guy that was like great, but still on the come up. And now that's sort of shifted, right? Kenny looks like the guy who was still the man, but clearly his best days might be a little bit behind him. And Hangman is so every bit of his prime. He's in it right this second, and it's just like they look cool together. Love to see him as a tag team, but as a matchup, I don't think Kenny's that much of a threat for him right now for the AEW.
My guess is that in Toronto, that's where the show is, right?
Yes.
My guess is in Toronto, we're going to get them tagging up against the Callis family, and then we'll follow that up with the title match. Because it's got to kind of help legitimize Hangman along the way, that sort of thing. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I think that gives him a little bit of cred to run that feud back one more time, just to say that this is the Hangman era, right?
Yeah, but Kenny's done that. He did that for MJF. He did that for a couple of other people. Yeah. It's like, how much do you want him to keep putting over that these are the new guys? This is the new guard. And Kenny is much more of the, no disrespect to him, but him, the Bucks, like they're almost like the legacy acts that don't need championships. We just want to watch them wrestle because they're who they are, and they have great matches, and they can probably tell some great stories. But yeah, I mean, Kenny, I think Hangman is, when you're a super duper babyface champion, you need those championship defenses, those face matchups when he's like, this man is clearly the better man. Go and be our champion and go forth and do well type shit. So yeah, not mad at it at all, but definitely want to see him as a tag team more than opponents in the upstart.
But you're right about Takeshi and Okada. Not only have they been kind of smart and tactful with the way they've been doing it, it's not the obvious stuff, but that's just a big match that could be like a giant feud that we haven't really seen, enough. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. What else big from last night? Do you like the Christian Cage? Do you like Christian calling out FTR's what do you say? That bitch is dead when he talked about the fathers?
Is dead daddy.
Do you like how quickly that pivoted to a purely fan favorite, just like pop line?
Yeah. I like those tropes. I love the evil tropes that turn out to be babyface tropes. Like I like it, but it's cool to see Adam Copeland and Christian Cage together. I'm still waiting for the 5-second pose. It's not really official yet. They're not all the way back yet until we get a 5-second pose. Like maybe they're saving it for Toronto. Maybe they're saving it for a hotter crowd than Philly, or a bigger crowd than Philly. But if we don't get some for the benefit of those of flash photography with these two before that match or during that match, I'll be highly disappointed. Shout out to FedEx, who, one of these FedEx workers got really up into Cash Wheeler's face during the beginning of the match. And, he looked like he was fresh off his shift. and really gave it to him. That's classic ECW right there, though, right? Like getting into the fan space or whatever. It might have been a little convoluted, maybe a tiny teensy bit forced. I don't think the fans in there were that aggressive like they would in the 90s when they were like smacked off of like Mike Hard lemonades and whatever they were doing in the 90s. Like they were actual drunks in the crowd. If I had to guess, the percentage of drunks in the 2300 arena yesterday and the percentage of drunks in classic ECW days is probably very, very few and far between. So I could get a kick out of the face to face with the fan and not thinking, oh, this guy's gonna get a beer can over his head any second now or something like that, So, but nah, it was a cool moment, cool breakup. I didn't realize. I saw a tweet. Somebody was like, "Wow, could you believe Adam Cope and the Edge is in the ECW arena?" And my brain immediately went to One Night Stand. I was like, "Wait, he was in the ECW arena," but my bad. That's Hammerstein Ballroom. That was not the original ECW arena. So props to me for not tweeting out that immediate thought
and props to you for admitting it on the show.
Yeah, so being corrected by a million Twitter followers like, oh, I'm sorry. That was not the ECW arena. What are you talking about? But I'm glad they're having the match, and I'm glad it's not for the tag team titles because I don't think it needed the tag team titles. I think it'll do just fine without it, and I think it's going to be an excellent match regardless.
For All Out,
yeah,
because there's a little bit of positioning that comes, like Hangman and Omega. If they do Hangman and Omega together against Okada and Takeshita or whoever from the Callis family, that'll be a lot of fun. It potentially could be the best match possible, but probably not the biggest match, right? I mean, Omega Hangman might be the biggest match they could do. But do you think that FTR versus Cope and Christian is enough to sell out All Out?
To sell it out?
Well, I mean, listen, Edge and Christian going in a giant match, Edge and Christian. Well, I guess that's how they know him up there too.
Yeah.
But do you think that's enough for the Canadian crowd? Do you think that's like the biggest? Is that enough?
Well, it's got to be because Adam Copeland's on the marquee. He is on they're advertising him. And I read some stat that somehow Edge and Christian never had a pay-per-view tag team match together in Toronto.
Really?
Some wild stat like that. I'm like, that can't be true. They said the closest thing it came to, I think, was Fully Loaded in 1990 something, and it was a 6-man tag. It was like Edge, Christian, and somebody else versus some other team. I'm like, how is that possible? How have they never had a tag team match together in their home city, in their hometown? So they're gonna come out for obvious. I mean, first of all, like Toronto's a great wrestling crowd regardless, and I think they'd sell out or do really well regardless of having Adam Copeland and Christian tag team up again. But yeah, I think they're gonna do great. I think they're gonna, all of their pay-per-views do really good, and especially for the hometown heroes coming back for the wrestling crazed cities like Toronto, Chicago, the UK. Like, you're gonna get a house for that. So yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
All right. What else? You want to move on to the other stuff?
Let's do it.
How hyped are you for Hook's return?
Not terribly hype. I'll be honest. Not terribly hype. I was happy for him. I was happy that he's back, and I'm happy that he got a cool moment in the arena that his father made famous, and his they put him in the Hardcore Hall of Fame after the show went off the air, I think, and Tony Khan did this whole thing with him, and I think that was cool. But if I'm speaking honestly, the buzz on Hook has definitely cooled off considerably. The new entrance music is all right. Maybe it'll take some getting used to. I love that song.
It's a weird wrestling entrance.
It's a great song, right? But it's definitely, it's gonna take some getting used to as far as like an entrance song. But like, Action Bronson is first off, that's my man's, and two, that's a great walking to the ring, I'm about to kick your ass type of song. But it seems like they're leaning into that on top of, and correct me if I'm wrong, I might be reading too far into this, but like trying to lean into the fact that the handsomeness of the devil part, like the cold-hearted handsome devil, you know what I mean? Like you said, like the song's about like singing ladies and coming back to town and all that type of stuff. So it's not just he's an ass kicker, but he's kind of like this, young adult heartthrob that they're trying to play into as well. So I think it'll take some getting used to be honest.
I got to tell you, I got tricked by a meme, or by not a meme, an online joke. Somebody posted just like a silhouette of Ace Austin right after he showed up, after he signed with AEW, and he said, just in silhouette, it was like, man, Hook's really bulked up during his time off, and I bought it for all of like 5 seconds before I realized what was going on.
Yeah.
And now I'm just really mad that Hook hasn't bulked up on his way on his time off because I was like, it seems so feasible. Disappears for a while, comes back a whole different person, But no, he's the same guy.
Same guy.
Handsome is tough in pro wrestling. Handsome is generally a heel thing. Like being a ladies' man is generally a heel thing. Now you have your heartthrobs. Heartthrob is different, but you don't really get to like, with the exception of like Southern territorial wrestling and it's like dying days, usually don't say that the quiet part out loud. The ladies come one way or the other. It was Jeff Jarrett, young Jeff Jarrett's the one who got like the sexy posters made of him. I don't know, but that wasn't the normal thing. I think. I mean, I don't know. I would just go easy on it. I don't know who are the ladies that are lining up anyway.
Nah, I said I'm not terribly excited, not because Hook is handsome and has new music, but I'm not terribly excited because I think Hook. I mean, shit, you can go back and listen to the old episodes of the podcast. I would have thought that Hook would be a lot further along.
Yeah.
As far as like being like a top guy by now, and I've seen a couple podcasts that MJF was doing this past week, and he was talking about pillars of the company, and only 2 of them was worth a damn with him and Darby Allin, and then a lot of people are like, well, like if Jungle Boy and Sammy Guevara ain't your people, like Hook is the perfect dude, and even in that class of young 20-something wrestlers that we assume will be like top guys in the next few years. Like we had many conversations about him, about Dirty Dom, about Braun Breaker and Bello Hayes, MJF, Darby, like all these like 20-something, early 30s, like young guys, and
yes.
Hook, even though he probably broke in with like the most buzz or just as good as buzz as anybody who debuts like that, he's almost been at the same level, probably like definitely the same level since since he broke out.
Well,
so I just got to see more from him. That's all.
I mean, listen, you can go back and listen to my Hook tape. I think I was probably on the right side of history here, if that's your point of view.
You definitely were.
But I will say this: there was a stretch of the show, and I could be getting this wrong a stretch of the show last night where it felt like it was Hook and Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia, I hate to say it, kind of back to back, and it was like just the kind of run of future pillars of the company that never quite made it, or that aren't quite there yet. And I think Garcia still got a super bright future, but it does seem weird that they're spinning their wheels with him so much. It's just like, I don't know. Listen, I love Daddy Magic, but every time Daniel Garcia is cutting a promo and then Daddy Magic just sort of wanders in to stand next to him, it feels like it's like Jimmy Hart with Hulk Hogan heat for me. I'm like, let's just let Daniel Garcia be his own man. Like it's, and they're just not, they just failed. They just don't pull the trigger on him. Anyway, a lot of those guys have panned out. I mean, you talk about your Darby Allins, everybody else, but it's never going to be 100%. It's just never going to work, and we see it over and over and over and over and over again. So, Hook is back. Your mileage may vary, like I don't even know what to say about it.
We gonna see.
But yeah, overall, it was a very, very good show. It all held together really well. All Out is already lining up to be something great. And the MJF thing was cool too, because he was like, once I get done with Briscoe, I'm back, and so maybe we're going to do him and Briscoe at All Out, just do a real big finish to that sort of, underlying feud there.
Well, he still got that contract, so they're going to run that back soon. So that's important.
What was Taz's theme music? I don't even know.
Oh,
I remember in WWE.
If you can.
Oh, yeah.
Survive if I let you. Do.
But what was it in ECW? Did he have a theme song?
I can't remember off the top of my head. Now, the only song I resonate with Taz now is
it is Survive if I Let You. It's the same thing. Yeah.
Wonder what they played when he came out. I liked the 6-man tag with the Gates of Agony and Ricochet.
Oh yeah.
Taking on Brodito and golly, who else? Who did he tag with? It was Brody King.
Brodito and no, it was against the Ops. Ricochet gets dragged against the Ops.
Yeah,
it was Brodito and Jet Speed versus the Don Callis family.
Yes. Oh man, there was so many wrestlers on last night.
Yeah.
Only
really 5 matches, but there were a lot of wrestlers involved.
But a lot of wrestlers, yes. I really like the 6-man tag. More than that, I like the ending of it where they were trying to carry Ricochet out after MVP sort of snuck up and beat that ass. And not once, not twice, but 3 times throughout the show, they had New Jack tributes where beatdowns would happen while the music continued playing in the crowd, which I thought was a very, very nice touch. And even the Don Callis Cyrus sort of callbacks were really cool as well. Like, I just, like the ECW arena is such a romantic place for wrestling fans. And like for a lot of people, either watched or ended up falling in love with wrestling. And there's still a lot of things that are sprinkled throughout the game right now that, still makes people really happy and, harkens back and is still relevant to this day. So I know there was a lot of hubbub about running that venue of, I think there was like some union thing going on or whatever. And that's unfortunate. I never want to, be anti-union. You want people to be paid their fair wages and all that type of stuff. Who gives a damn? But as far as like the actual show, man, like, there's something really cool about, wrestling in a place with so much history and with a lot of that DNA still in today's wrestling.
Absolutely.
I personally always get a kick out of that stuff. So it was cool, man. I really enjoyed a lot of the show last night.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. Well, before we get to Clash in Paris, a couple of notes, just really random notes. We do the show on Thursday, almost every Thursday. And we end up not talking a lot about Raw, unless something big happens, because we're already looking forward to SmackDown, but like minute by minute. And guess what? I'm still not going to talk in minute detail about Raw. There's a lot of these comments that I might tweet if I were still tweeting, but don't say out loud by the time I get to the show, because they're just I'm a little bit more laid back and some decorum about it. But does every episode of Raw end exact the fucking same, or is it just me? Is it just like every single week we just have the Vision beating people up? Is it going to be that way all the way through what? Through War Games?
Ever since SummerSlam, or really ever since WrestleMania, I'm willing to, I have no stats to back this up, but if I did, I'm willing to bet more than 88% of Monday Night Raws have ended the exact same way since after WrestleMania until today.
Is
right?
that, no, and I'm not going to just complain. Yeah, but let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Is there an argument that this is good booking?
It's logical booking. I don't know if it's good.
Because it's sort of just the same thing over and over again. Roman Reigns opens the show, baby faces end up lying at the end.
Every year, it feels like every year in the Triple H era, even while Vince was around, the show was ran by a stable, especially Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, right? Like last year, the Judgment Day opens the show. The Judgment Day is in the middle of the show. The Judgment Day closes the show, right? Like the year before that, the Bloodline opens the show. There's Bloodline in the middle of the show. And Bloodline closes the show. Before that, Authority's in the beginning of the show. Authority's in the middle of the show. Authority ends the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the Vision's the beginning of the show. Vision's in the middle of the show. Vision's in the end of the show. Hunter loves them in his stables. Loves them sprinkled around the entire show. And especially if they're heel stables, more often than not, they're going to end the show with them either getting heat on a babyface or getting their comeuppance from the mega top guy, which is reserved for the Roman Reigns', the John Cena's, the Seth Rollins's. Like, those are the rare occurrences. And now Roman Reigns is in that position where there's a group of plucky baby faces trying to fight off another attempt at quote unquote taking over the company. But, the big joker being Roman Reigns, depending on if he gets his sneakers taken that day or not, always sort of ends up ending the show. And I understand why they do it. Like, if I'm being completely honest, at least a couple of those Raws, I'm already asleep because it's like, I know how this is going to end. I know this is going to end. Now, granted, this past Monday Night Raw was nice afternoon time, so I got to see it all. And
so it felt new to you.
Felt new to me, but
do you find yourself subconsciously going to sleep? I maybe this is very personal. I found myself subconsciously.
Let's get personal.
I feel like I doze a little bit more during Raw now because I'm used to going to sleep to Netflix. Like before, I was like on cable or whatever, or like a YouTube TV or something, whatever you're going to use. That's a very like remote control in hand activity.
That's true. And Raw doesn't even give you the. But do you think? Now I might be getting too deep in the rabbit hole here, but do you think WWE specifically requested not to have the Netflix "Are you still watching?" message?
Yes, no, I'm sure during live TV they're not going to do that, right?
They're not going to slap it in between like hour 2 and 3 and be like, "Hey, are you guys still watching?" Nah. But yeah, like.
That would be a good move, at least for internal metrics or whatever, Yeah,
I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's the worst thing that Raw has ended very similarly over the past several weeks because you're trying to get these new guys over, and it's a grueling process. But as much as motherfuckers love Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio as much as they did. For a good portion of 2021 and 2022, like
you had to work for it.
You had to work for it. Yeah, like you gotta keep beating people over the head with it until you have these big moments where they establish themselves as megastars, and then you don't necessarily need to do that every single week. But Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, as great as they are being established at the moment.
Can I just ask one thing? As you're right, they're great.
Yeah.
The Vision is what they're called, right? The Vision is currently Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed. There have been some rumors they're going to get another person in the group. If they did that, if they had already done that, it would be taking some of the shine off of Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Bronson Reed, I mean, he's got a freaking pay-per-view PLE match against Roman Reigns. It doesn't get much bigger than that.
As big as it gets.
But man, if we're doing this all the way to War Games. I know this is so nitpicky. I would much rather the Vision be all 5 or 4, if it's 4-on-4 of the people on one side, and then the baby faces have to come together to fight them. Punk and Uso and LA Knight and whoever have to like join forces. I always hate it when it's War Games and it's like the 3 bad guys and their friends. This tag team, they're also bad guys. It doesn't do it for me. Also, I know that we had on the AEW side a Don Callis family match this week. But they announced a match next week where it's like 2 of the Don Callis family. It's like it's Okada, Takeshita, and the Bucks against whoever, and it's going to be a sick match. I mean, I think it's Hangman and Omega and Jet Speed. It's going to be an absolutely sick match. But just from a kayfabe logic standpoint, why is Don Callis loaning out his dudes? I know he's got a working relationship with the Bucks, but shouldn't he want to put his guys in that seat? Shouldn't he want Josh Alexander instead of one of the Bucks or the Hichiro or whatever? I mean, like, shouldn't that? I don't know. Anyway, I like when teams are teams, even when they're big squads. So let's get some more members of the Vision. But yeah, it does feel like we're going to get the same thing over and over and over and over again until War Games. Who are the baby faces in War Games?
Or maybe until WrestlePalooza. That seems like it might be a big.
No, there's no way we're just teaming this. We're going to be teasing this baby face dissension until we get all the way to War Games. I swear, that's got to be what it is. Who are the baby faces to take on these guys?
I mean, I think we've seen them. I think Roman and Punk and LA Knight, and then Jey Uso, and then probably Sami Zayn. Or no, Sami Zayn's on SmackDown.
Sami Zayn's on SmackDown. Although we haven't even talked much about Sami Zayn on SmackDown. Like Sami on SmackDown. You remember the first post WrestleMania? I mean, first SummerSlam, post SummerSlam thing was the Sami Zayn Seth Rollins interaction, and Seth basically offered him the chance to go to SmackDown and be the top guy, and Sammy said, no, I'm not doing your thing. And then just ... he ends up on SmackDown a couple of months later. Either that's kind of sloppy booking, or low-key he's working with Seth Rollins.
Or Karrion Kross is right, and maybe this is another
that's what I mean.
long con by one of the greatest works in the history of works, where Karrion Kross finally pops up. It was like, haha, see, you could have just listened to me and got your title match, but now you're just here on SmackDown doing nothing. And Sammy be like, yeah, and you're at home without a job. And then boom, wrestling match.
Wouldn't surprise me if Sami Zayn turning heel like during War Games is a thing. You can't have a War Games without Sammy. But which side he's on? That was my Raw note. My SmackDown note is a little bit more low intensity, but I feel weirdly passionate about it. I love Kiana James and Julia together. I like this idea. When I first heard about it, I was sort of offended by the notion that Julia needed a mouthpiece or needed a manager or whatever. I actually like the idea of them together, but Kiana James is a talented person. Let's give her something to do that is not like pretend like you're a wrestling valet from 1995.
Right. Okay, one more thing I'd like to add to that.
Also, by the way, no shaming, no nothing like that, but like, you dress for the job you want, or I mean, maybe it is the job she wants, but she's like, I don't get like the wrestling gear or the whatever, the lingerie stuff under the suit. Like, that's just very 1990s to me. Like, I would not.
You didn't hear? Dave Meltzer says WWE and NXT viewers are lonely single men. And that's why they do such great ratings. So you gotta keep the lonely single men that watch pro wrestling demographic happy.
It's possible, I think, to appeal to lonely single men without putting someone in an outfit that no human being would wear. That's it.
It just doesn't make any actual sense. Like, why have the lingerie? Anyway, I've seen worse.
Yes, on WWE in the 90s, we make fun of that. Like, that's like the... Anyway.
I'm a big fan of, before we get into Clash in Paris, I want to make a plea. We've been talking about how much I've been really getting into NXT again. NXT goes into these cycles where they're like not at all interesting, and then all of a sudden there's like 3 of these guys should be on a Raw SmackDown right now, right? And 2 of them, who I don't think we talk about nearly enough, even though they are great friends of the show, great podcast guests, have been on the show multiple times. Team Canada of Chelsea Green and Ethan Page and the Secret Harvest is so Raw and SmackDown ready. It's not even funny. Like, they just look like, and I'm not even like, the best part about it is they are such an old school, slimy, quote unquote, non-American foreigner heel tag team or heel group that doesn't get booed even a little bit. They get all types of babyface reactions as Canadians who swear up and down that their country is better than the country that they are currently wrestling in.
They might be right. Yeah.
Which my mental, my wrestling brain tells me, oh, you can't say that. That's not our country. But it's like, yeah, well, if shit goes left, I mean, like, Toronto's definitely on the top, choices of migration if it ever really goes down. So I can't say that too bad.
You're going to be about 5 minutes from Montreal this weekend, or you probably are right now. So yeah,
basically, yeah, I could throw a rock towards Canada right now. That's how close I am in good old Western New York. But I just wanted to give them some shouts because NXT goes through these phases where they're like completely interesting and then just not interesting at all. But like right now, I think between the Javon Evans, Femi rivalry, Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints getting into the top, top of the
Thank
card.
God.
Team Canada is over there. The women are always killing it, obviously.
I was just thinking about, my brother-in-law is in New Orleans, and we were trying to figure out, he's like, are there any wrestlers from New Orleans who will be here next year when they do, what's it called? When they do Money in the Bank? And I was like, well, yeah, Ricky Saints, but I don't know if he's going to be will he be on the main roster by then?
I think so. Ricky Saints, like, if you ever notice him, like Ricky Saints, Like, you know how people say LA Knight wrestles like and acts like The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin put together?
Yeah.
Ricky is definitely a hybrid of The Rock and Cody Rhodes. Like, he does all the Cody stuff, and like you see all the Cody influence in like his babyface wrestling and being a little bit undersized, and I forgot who he wrestled. Was it Josh Briggs? He wrestled Josh Briggs on NXT this past week, and it's just like, oh yeah, you definitely learned how to wrestle from Cody Rhodes. So I remember there was a lot of Rock comparisons to Ricky, and I never really saw it that way.
He like raises his eyebrow and like he wears the Rock outfits. Like he literally wears like the silk shirt open and the slacks. Like he's dressing like old Rock.
Yeah, Adam called him a midget, vanilla midget version of the Rock or something like that, whatever. And I think that was
that crossed the line.
What it was, yeah, that definitely was what it was. But I think he's starting to take a little bit more of his influence from Cody, and
I see
makes
that.
a ton of sense.
I mean, listen, not a bad person to take your influence from in this day and age.
Oh, and it seems like if you keep that joint going, you should be in the main roster pretty soon. So yeah, I hear that. Makes a ton of sense.
Next week, because we got to do Clash in Paris picks, but the NFL season's getting into gear. The NFL show.
Yes.
The Ringer NFL show did a bit where they tried to decide which teams or how many teams could feasibly win the Super Bowl before the season even starts, but like could feasibly win.
Mm-hmm.
When we have a down period, maybe next Thursday, we should do how many wrestlers could feasibly headline WrestleMania.
Okay.
It's like, some of them are obvious. Like obviously Roman Reigns could headline WrestleMania. Could Dominic Mysterio headline WrestleMania? Could Roxanne Perez headline WrestleMania? Just think it over. Don't answer me. We'll come back to that next week.
Let's do it. Okay.
Jobbers in Paris this weekend. We're gonna do our picks. I don't know if you guys were listening on our SummerSlam show. We started a new system where we all make official picks. We're gonna do it a calendar year, SummerSlam to SummerSlam. Everybody, me, Kaz, producer Brian H. Waters, and EP Bin Cruz. Brian, you can say hi at this point. We all make picks. We don't pick every match on the card. We only pick a select number of matches on the card. For SummerSlam, it was what, 5, 6? 5.
Yep.
And then this one, we're picking 3. You only have to pick 3 to go down with certainty. Schmaz is not an option. You're picking a winner. We're also separately doing an eliminator pool, which is actually not really an eliminator pool, but whatever, where we each pick with confidence one person on the entire card who we think is going to win. And we carry that through the year too. So we have 2 different things going on at the same time. We'll do eliminator last. First, let's make our picks. You only have to pick 3 matches. You can pick whatever 3 matches you want.
Okay.
And you got to tell me what they are. We'll just talk about the matches as they come up in the conversation. Tell me, Kaz, what your first pick is.
Oh, man. This is a tough one. I think I want to go at the top. And I'm not talking about the World Championship because I don't think that's going to be defended. I'm going to go with John Cena, Logan Paul.
Mm-hmm. It's on my list.
And, this kind of feels like Logan Paul is going to win this match.
Wait, you're going with your official pick is Logan Paul?
I think he's going to win this match, Dave. I think he's going to win this match.
Ooh.
Because something tells me next week,
your fingers are crossed,
because I don't want to be withholding to this if it doesn't come true. I'm positive we're going to get some Brock Lesnar interference. And a few weeks ago, I said, we got to hear from Brock eventually. I think after that, we're going to get Brock Lesnar, Logan Paul standing over John Cena. And then we're going to get Brock Lesnar on Impulsive that week. And then we're going to finally hear from Brock.
Oh, you think Brock's going to interfere to help Logan Paul?
I think so. Maybe not on some like, hey, like, we're going to be buddy-buddy, chit-chat, whatever. But they both have a common enemy. Logan Paul, the Paul brothers, and Lesnar just seems like very box office to me. And I don't know. I just get that feeling, man. John Cena just had probably his best match of the year at SummerSlam. And Logan Paul's no slouch in the ring. I think a lot of people looking at this match and thinking it's going to be very schmazzy, lots of bells and whistles. I'm like, nah, I think Logan Paul's actually going to give John Cena a pretty damn good match, you know? But I definitely feel like we're getting some Brock in here. And I think we're going off the air.
You think Brock flies to Paris? You think Brock says fine, hops on the PJ for that?
That's not a far trip. Paris is like, that's a, you know, that's a little smidgen over a Vegas flight from New York, just a little bit. That's not too bad of a flight. Not too bad of travel, you know. But yeah, I think that's what we're getting, because right after this, we're all steam ahead to WrestlePalooza, and you gotta start amping up these matches for ESPN. So yeah, I definitely see that coming.
Brian, is this match on your list?
Yeah, it is.
What's your pick?
I'm going John Cena.
I think I was inclined to go with Cena too.
Yeah.
But I think I still sort of think of him as champion. I know he's not champion, but in the sort of, it's the last days of his career. Like, are they really going to have him lose to Logan Paul? I mean, where does Logan Paul rank on the next generation of wrestlers you would want to put over on your way out list? I mean, is he high? I honestly have no frame of reference for how he's viewed by other wrestlers.
I can see him being ranked, you know, sort of up there. Just because, like, you know, like Kaz bringing up Brock Lesnar, you know, he talked about Brock, you know, kind of giving him his props and sitting down watching his matches with him. So it does have me thinking, I'm going to stick with my pick, but it's not far-fetched.
It's not far-fetched. I think I'm actually removing this from my picks. I don't know. I'm going to table this one till the end.
Well, Ben has it on his list.
Who does he have? Cena?
Mm-hmm.
I walked in with this being totally Cena. You got me thinking, though, Kaz. I have to admit it. Because I think Cena kind of has to beat Brock. So
I don't know.
You're going to talk me out of this one too?
Nah, well, we can save that for WrestlePalooza.
I'm just saying, if John Cena, I mean, it just depends on how long Brock's going to stick around.
Yeah.
You know? But I kind of think Brock's a pseudo one-off here, at least in terms of future planning. Maybe not. Maybe Brock teams up with the Vision, goes back to Heyman. Although that would be weird. I don't know. We gotta move on. I'm not making my official pick on that one. I'm going to table my pick on that. I'll go to my first official pick. Okay. I have Becky Lynch over Nikki Bella.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I think that's a
I think Becky Lynch is here to put a lot of people over. Anybody else, I would be very reluctant. I think I picked Lyra at SummerSlam as my like elimination pool winner. I think Becky's here, you know, working for the greater good. I just don't see the upside in letting Nikki win, unless it's just for a month and she wins it back at WrestlePalooza, which is not crazy. I just feel good about Becky Lynch in this one. Although after that Ozzy Osbourne stuff, maybe they got to make Becky disappear for a while. I have no idea, but I'm picking Becky Lynch. What do you have that on your list?
Yeah, I got Becky Lynch winning this one too. I would definitely be shocked if Nikki Bella wins and becomes Intercontinental Champion, only because the promo Nikki cut wasn't that great. There was so much talk about the Ozzy Osbourne, Kelly Osbourne fallout that people didn't really, I don't think, give enough time to how the Nikki Bella promo was, right? Like it was just Mm-hmm. But lots of folks talking about, Kelly Osbourne going on Instagram and tagging the wrong Becky Lynch account, talking about how upset she was at what she said, which I found hilarious because, she didn't really disparage Ozzy Osbourne. She honestly said that she was the best thing to come out of Birmingham, England. And, he did the smart thing like Kelly Osbourne did, just move to LA and go to a real city, which is all factual statements. It was typical heel running down the home city while you're in town.
Yep.
And, Kelly Osbourne, going to bat for Birmingham and said they wouldn't piss on her or something like this. It's some wild shit. And that whole time I'm just like, Becky Lynch still got the fastball, baby.
Yep.
Still got it, So I think they're probably, and I love that they're like I don't know if they're leaking this, but I love that there's like reports coming out that WWE is embarrassed about what Becky Lynch had to say.
Kelly Osbourne's trying to get that WWE guest spot.
Man, if listen, I can see that Conor McGregor, I'd like to apologize to absolutely nobody. The man does what the man wants, coming a mile away from Clash in Paris. And if that doesn't start Clash in Paris, or that doesn't start their match or the promo or something, like, she has to address it. And she has to double down, because she didn't say anything bad about Ozzy. She just said Birmingham sucks, which is okay, typical wrestling heel promo stuff. Like, all these folks saying she needs to apologize. I'm like, apologize for what? She said nothing wrong, nothing disparaging about the family. Maybe the last part when she was like, if I was from here, I would have died too. Like, maybe that was a little much. But it was just running down Birmingham. It wasn't necessarily running down the family or running down Ozzy.
And the annals of heel shtick. This is pretty low wattage.
Pretty low wattage.
I'm not too offended about it. Brian, do you have this on your list?
I do not. Ben actually has Becky as his lock.
Okay. I'm not going to announce my lock yet, but she may be up there. But did Ben officially pick this match too?
Yes.
Okay. You don't have to. Your lock does not have to come from one of the matches you picked, just for the record. It'd be weird if it didn't, but it doesn't have to. Brian, what's your next pick?
My next pick is the World Heavyweight Championship match. I'm picking Seth Rollins, and I'm gonna lock it up. Seth Rollins will retain against Jey Uso, LA Knight, and CM Punk.
I agree with this one. Champion's got a huge advantage, despite the mathematical disadvantage in a fatal four-way. Very rare that the title changes hands this way. There's too much, too many other ways to keep the story moving forward without a title switch. And obviously the story here is about babyface dissension, them trying to get on the same page, the issues they have with one another. With Rollins and Punk both involved in this match, that's, one less person to theoretically interfere. But Braun Breaker's got nothing else going on. He'll be involved. We'll see where Bronson Reed is by the time that this match happens. He might be involved too. And there's some other people that conceivably get involved, I guess. We all kind of thought that Gunther would be headlining this show just because it's in Europe. He's not on the card. Not sure exactly how he would factor in.
He's recovering from an injury, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Oh, is he officially injured?
Yeah. I think Gunther had like a nose injury or something facially happened to him. So I think he's taking some time.
His nose bled in the title match, but I didn't know that. I didn't realize that was so shoot. Oh man.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's gonna be gone for a long time though.
It'd be fun to get him involved somehow, but who knows? But yeah, I totally have this. I would 100% pick Seth Rollins here, not just because of the odds, but because LA Knight, Jey Uso, and CM Punk. I just find it hard to imagine any of those dudes walking out with the title. CM Punk, I feel like it has to be a bigger moment for when he finally wins. And I just, Jey Uso is a no, and LA Knight is a not yet. I mean, if you're going to do a shock turn, a shock title change, I might, if you told me it had to be one of the challengers, I might go LA Knight. Because this feels like a sort of moment just to test the waters, and he can lose it if need be. But I think Seth's winning. What do you think, Kaz?
I think Seth's winning too. I feel like it was, I feel like this is all a vehicle for Roman Seth for the World Heavyweight Championship eventually, and I think he's got to go through Jay. He's got to go through all these guys. He's been through Punk a bunch of times. You know what I mean? I think if I'm with you though, if I had to pick somebody who was a challenger and I want to shock the world and get people talking about Raw on Monday the next day, I'd shotgun an LA Knight title victory and just be like, holy shit, LA Knight won the World Heavyweight Championship in Paris, and then like throw a little bit of a monkey wrench of chaos into there. I'd rock with that. But it seems to me, if I'm doing my monthly tea leaf reading on rivalries or whatever, I think this is all setting up to be Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins on the collision course for the World Heavyweight Championship. Maybe by the end of the year. Maybe by WrestleMania, but it makes a ton of sense. What about
WrestlePalooza?
WrestlePalooza could be one,
What's the biggest thing you could do if you want WrestlePalooza to be your new second biggest PLE?
For the championship or just in general?
Well, let's say we have John Cena, Brock Lesnar on the card. Mm-hmm. What's your best Seth Rollins match? Seth Rollins championship match, yeah. Roman Reigns?
Tough, yeah.
Or CM Punk and like a triple steel cage. This one's like, really for all the marbles.
You could do CM Punk again. I feel like Roman and Seth is a WrestleMania main event, man. Like there's too much history and story for them to sort of like blow it off in the next 2 or 3 weeks, you know? And there's been enough story between CM Punk and Seth Rollins where you could conceivably be like, okay, let's keep these people away from each other finally after this, right? So like probably Seth and Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship is your best bet there. But if all health is permitting, I'm holding off on Roman and Seth as long as I possibly can for that WrestleMania main event, one of those nights for the World Heavyweight Championship.
With those two guys, I'd be very leery about waiting. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Maybe you could just put them both on. Just cancel all of both of their shows from like the Survivor Series forward, just to make sure that they're healthy at WrestleMania. All right, my next pick. I'm officially taking Cena Paul off my board. You've put too much doubt in my mind.
Yep, that's my game.
I'm gonna go with Rollins. I'm gonna go with Becky, and my third official pick. And I know that there's gonna be some disagreement, but it's Rusev over Sheamus. Good old fashioned Donnybrook match. I've enjoyed this feud for what it is. I'm excited to see what they do, given the opportunity here at a big PLE. I think Sheamus, by all rights, kind of should win. But if you don't put Rusev here after you just signed the dude, then what the hell are you doing? Like, what was the point of all of this? So I just think it'd be crazy if he didn't win. There may be a non-finish. They may fight until the arena falls down. They might both end up lying under a French. What would be do they have any kind of special semi truck in France that they could both be like? It's something, the Eiffel Tower may fall onto both of them. This may be a non-finish, but I'm going with Rusev. This has got to be the blow off, and if he doesn't win, like I said, then what are you doing?
What's the point of bringing him back? Yeah, I think that's going to be my lock. If I had to pick a lock, I'm taking Rusev over Sheamus, and I think it's going to be the best match of the night too. Like I think that crowd is going to be really into it. I think anytime Rusev and Sheamus have gotten more than 10 minutes to do anything, it's been awesome. I don't see that being any different here, especially when they're billing it as a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. I think Sheamus and Jeff Hardy had a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match several years ago, like in a bar or something during the pandemic, which was amazing. And yeah, it feels like it's going to be Falls Count Anywhere. I think we're going to see a lot of bells and whistles and violence and Instagram pictures of body parts afterwards with welts and all that type of stuff. But once it's all said and done, yeah, like Rusev needs a win here. Rusev needs a big spot to show that he's a player again. Not to say Sheamus doesn't need it, but Rusev needs it a little more.
Well, you could argue that Sheamus needs it just as much, but again, what are we doing here? Like, what's the point of all this? I don't know if that's going to be my lock. But I feel pretty good about that one. Brian, do you have that one on your list?
Yeah, that's my last match on my list. And I got Rusev. Same reason.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I thought there were going to be some Sheamus voices in here because I think online the chatter has been sort of mixed. I mean, I think that people have been a little bit out on this feud in general, just sort of from a what's the point sort of point of view. And I feel like the what's the point voices sort of have been leaning towards Sheamus because he's just sort of like, let's reset a little bit is the argument. But yeah, I think that we're all on the same page there. Does Ben have this one, by the way?
No, he doesn't.
I wish if the next
his
time
last
Ben,
one was Seth.
The next time that if Ben isn't here for the next one of these, we're getting a Ben puppet and you have to use it and talk as if you're Ben.
You got it, dude.
I'll make the puppet. Paper nice. Mr. Sacco style puppet. It's going to be incredibly, incredibly insulting. So maybe that'll get Cruz here next time. Anyway, what else we got? So Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. Is that the only match we haven't talked about? That's the only match we haven't talked about. Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed, singles match. This is not on my list because I could see this go either way. I assume that the betting odds, Brian, can you pull those up? I assume the betting odds are wildly in Roman Reigns' favor. Not only is he sort of the public team, but he's also just It's so much more established, so much more history, so much more of a resume. This doesn't quite fall into what are we doing here territory, because Bronson Reed is a lot better off now than he was before he stole the first tennis shoes.
Mm-hmm.
But Roman could just win and it would be fine, especially if we're steering towards Roman versus Seth sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Roman's shown he's been willing to lie down for the right person and, to help get the next generation over. And he just found out that Bronson Reed is Samoan, so maybe he's bloodline adjacent enough to earn a pinfall from Roman Reigns.
That's hilarious.
Nothing here would shock me. I actually think it's a higher likelihood that Braun Breaker's involved in this one than he is involved in the other one. Or I don't know, maybe you want to keep it clean. But literally, I can't make this pick. I just can't make it. If you put a gun to my head, I'd say Roman Reigns because it feels practical. But I don't know. What do you think, Kaz?
Yeah, I can't call this one either, man. Like, it's a non-title Roman Reigns match, so literally anything could happen, right? Like, what's more important, establishing the vision as a real threat to the top guys in the company, or ho-hum another Roman Reigns victory, right? No Braun Breaker on the card might be a little bit of a hat tip, might be a little tip of the cap, just might be possible there. But at the same time, I don't know, man. Like, it is interesting because, like I said, WrestlePalooza is coming up, Survivor Series is coming up, and it's not like Roman Reigns needs to have momentum to be taken seriously as a championship contender. But he did say on Raw in his promo that he had lots of plans coming up, not just for this year, but for next year as well. He spoke on Stephanie's podcast about wanting to be full-time acting and full-time wrestling as well, and not having to sacrifice either. Something tells me we're going to see a lot more Roman Reigns than we were used to in the past several years.
Okay. Yeah, listen. I just pulled up the betting odds.
Okay.
We're pretty much on point up to this point. In the four-way match for the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins is far and away the favorite. And actually, LA Knight is second. It's minus 3,000 for Seth. Plus 600 for LA, plus 900 for Punk, plus 1,000 for Jey Uso. So we called that one.
Mm-hmm.
Becky Lynch it's a tighter race, but Becky Lynch is the favorite, minus 300 to plus 200 for Nikki Bella. Rusev is the favorite, minus 400 to plus 250 for Sheamus. John Cena is the favorite in his match against Logan Paul, minus 700 to plus 400. He's got 87.5% likelihood of winning. And then in this one, Roman Reigns is minus 2,000. Second best odds to Seth Rollins of the night. Bronson Reed plus 700. Reigns 95% chance of winning. I just don't think it's that cut and dry. I mean, it's just a matter of, it has less about Roman Reigns and like, what are your plans for big Bronson Reed in the next 6 months? And I think everything we've seen tells you that Bronson Reed is someone they have big plans for.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if he doesn't win, you could still get these guys over.
Yes. Post-match beatdown.
Post-match ass whooping.
Just like it's the end of Raw.
Yes. Yeah. Like, it's just another episode of Raw. It's like, hey, you don't got to win because you're going to throw like 8 tsunamis on Roman Reigns afterwards and they got to stretcher him out, whatever. So I legit can't call this matchup at all. That's exactly why I stayed completely clear from it, because any decision is a good decision. If I had to put a gun to my head, they won the tag team match at SummerSlam. So you'd probably think Bronson Reed gets this big solo victory over here. The Shula Fala thing is getting really over. You know what I mean? Like, if I had to pick, and just because I'm an agent of chaos and I love chaos, I'm going to go Bronson Reed over Roman Reigns.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what you're thinking too, Brian?
Yeah, as much as I hate betting against Roman, that's why I didn't put it on the list either. But, when you think about it.
If you wanted to make some money, if I was just interested in cashing a check, I might put some money on. I put some money on Bronson Reed. It's good odds.
Yeah. I mean, $700, why not?
$700 you didn't have yesterday. Unless there's a schmaz. What happens when there's a non-finish? You just don't collect, right?
I don't know.
I assumed not. That's how they were able to stay afloat. Anyway, Okay, so let's run through it. My official picks are Seth Rollins, Rusev, and Becky Lynch. My lock. Whew, I don't feel great about any of these. But think about it. Eliminator, you're only allowed to use to make each pick once over the calendar year. So I'm going to go with Rusev here because I'm not sure when I'll have a chance to pick Rusev again.
Mm-hmm.
Kaz, what do you got? Your official picks are Logan Paul.
Yeah. I'm going balls deep in this Brock Lesnar prediction lead up to WrestlePalooza. Rusev seems like the safest pick, but who likes safe picks?
Oh,
slapping on it. Logan Paul beats John Cena.
Oh, okay.
In Paris.
So what's your other two picks?
Well, can I pick Rusev and Sheamus?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna take a Rusev.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go Becky Lynch beating Nikki Bella.
Brian, what do you got?
I have John Cena, Seth Rollins, and Rusev, with Seth Rollins being my lock.
Okay. And Ben has
John Cena, Seth Rollins, and Becky Lynch being his lock.
Okay. All right. Well, it's going to be a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Good old-fashioned Donnybrook, good old-fashioned one PLE weekend here. Pretty shocking. AEW should just come up. I know they have Ring of Honor, but they should just start a new brand that's just like a gag brand where they just run fake pay-per-views on the same day as WWE pay-per-views. Like an NXT takeoff where it's just like silly wrestling. Just all comedy wrestling.
Right.
I know Tony Khan supposedly hates comedy
fans.
wrestling. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. Or just like puppets. They could do their own puppet show of like a puppet reenactment of whatever just happened on the WWE PLE.
Something like that.
Well, that's what Jake Hager said. That
what are we gonna? I thought we were gonna get through this whole thing without talking about the Jake Hager shoot interview.
Oh, my man Swags was bugging. Yo, what was he thinking? What was he thinking? That whole like every headline was worse than the last one. Every time I seen it, I was just like, dog.
He found the first person who wanted to talk to him in like a year and a half. You know, he's like, you can't stop. He's just a lonely guy. He can't stop talking once people start asking him questions.
God bless Chris Van Vliet, man. He's amazing at what he does, and I'm glad that he provides this platform for wrestlers to speak their piece. But boy, my man was on the take in this interview, bro. Like, you couldn't Guantanamo Bay me that information about John Cena if I was Jack Swagger, especially after this kind of lets you know. But this kind of lets you know that Jake Hager is completely out the wrestling business. Like, he's trucking now. Yep. He's doing his thing. He's like completely gone. Because if he was following the product at all, that I don't bury talent, I bury mediocrity promo. Anybody who's had an issue with John Cena would probably keep it to themselves after that promo because they know they're going to tag that video.
I agree, but you say he's out of the business.
Like, I guess that's the mediocrity. Listen, I think he's got to be out because how do you not know to just be like, yeah, I probably wouldn't touch that.
Maybe he's not that bright because listen, he might be. Everything you said is true, but why are you doing an interview with Chris Van Vliet if you're out of the business?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I don't know. I don't know what he thinks. He's trying to just get a bunch of hype so he could make a shocking appearance in GCW or something. Anyway, damn, Jack Swagger, what are you doing, man?
What are you doing, Chief? And I like Jack Swagger. I like Jake Hager. I've
Jack
met
Swagger
him a couple times.
100% would have gone to Vince's 80th birthday party if he had been invited. And if he had a tuxedo.
To be fair, we don't know that he didn't show up. The only people we know who did show up. I don't think he has a tux.
The only people that we know is because of Jerry the King Lawler's
Jerry
Instagram.
Lawler, you know what I mean? Could he had to do it for the clout. Had to get that clout off, get the IG stories popping. But there was probably a lot more people in there that we wouldn't suspect or know. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see, buddy.
A bunch of wrestlers that are supposedly dead were there, like in a little low key, Ultimate Warrior with like a short haircut. I don't know why I tried a conspiracy theory. Anyway, we got to get out of here. We've made our picks. Have a happy Clash in Paris, everybody. Happy Fourth Row. What's the show called?
West Side Gun Day, bro. West Side Gun Day is the show. Huge lineup, huge card. Check it out on YouTube, Fourth Row page, socials, everywhere. And if you're in Buffalo, come pull up on us, man. Should be good.
Happy West Side Gun Day to all who celebrate. Next week, I think we're taking Monday off. It is Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be here on Tuesday unless something just earth-shattering happens at Clash in Paris.
Well, you done already jinxed us. So just by saying we're going to be off Monday,
good. That would be good. If
Vince is going to show up in Paris, no chance.
If something that crazy, except Vince aside, if something crazy enough happens at Clash that warrants us getting right in the microphone, that's generally a good thing. Generally a good thing for us, for our listeners, for excitement, for everything else. Anyway, thank you to our producer, Brian H. Waters. Thanks to our EP, Ben Cruz, who couldn't be bothered to show up today. Thank you all for listening. Finn Balor's going to be okay. Boo your mama. We'll see you back here next week, humanoids.
Peace.